Central West Business Breakfast Series. Really great that you're able to join us this morning, and I'm excited to welcome the hard-working member for Orange, Phil Donato, to our first business breakfast. Welcome.
Thank you, Sam, and welcome everyone watching online. It's terrific to be the first guest of this terrific series you got going.
Yeah, first cab off the rank. And look, for all of the people joining us this morning, we were going to do our business breakfast series throughout the Central West in 2020 as a face-to-face offering, but like a lot of us out there at the moment, we've had to adapt and change, and as such, we're going to be offering these up as a hopefully a weekly offering on Facebook Live every Friday morning. So Phil, thank you very much for taking the time to join us.
No worries.
The ambition of the Business Breakfast series is to have a local leader like yourself join us every Friday to discuss local issues across the region, so local businesses and the communities can understand better about what's happening in government, what's happening in business, or what's happening in community. And I think it's going to hopefully be an entertaining, engaging and informative chat for all of our viewers this morning. Now, I don't know what you're like, Phil, but I need to have a good coffee to get the engines going in the morning. So we've stopped down at Byng Street Cafe this morning to get our coffee.
Very nice.
And I guess, Phil, I know a lot of businesses are probably doing it tough around town at the moment.
Yeah.
What piece of advice would you give the community? What can they do to support businesses?
Oh, look, you've got to support localism, don't you? Support your local businesses. Doesn't matter if it's your local coffee shop, local supermarket, local clothes shop, hairdresser, whatever the case may be. We've got to really encourage people to get out where you can to really support local businesses, because you're right, they're doing it extremely tough. And thanks for bringing the coffee. Delicious coffee, always from Byng Street. And little tip for you, I was told by Health Medico, with the corona stuff, take the cap off and drink it out of the cup.
Well,
so there you go.
There you go, learn something new first up on a Friday morning. And Phil, I don't know if you got the cap on or the cap on, but I still reckon it tastes alright. So.
Yeah, no, it's very nice. So thanks for bringing it in. Like you, this is my second coffee already this morning. I always start off with a short black at home, so
yeah,
get
that does get the tipping over.
Typical Italian breakfast,
Yeah,
a short black.
So look, a lot of everyone probably knows Phil Donato as the hard-working member for Orange. Phil previously was a police prosecutor for some 16 years.
16 years as a prosecutor, and I had about 22 years in the police force all up.
Based in Sydney, I believe, a lot of the
Sydney and Metropolitan. I was based in Sydney from about the mid-90s to early 2000s, and then joined the prosecuting branch in Sydney, and then transferred out to Orange in 2005 and been here ever since.
And so Phil was first elected in 2016 as the member for Orange, and then re-elected last year in 2019. And I guess, Phil, that probably leads me into my first question. The community across the Central West, the business community especially, has been doing it very tough. The drought's been ongoing. That probably dovetailed into the bushfire crisis and our COVID-19. What are you hearing on the ground across the electorate, and what kind of feedback can you give to the community now?
Yeah, look, Sam, you're right. It's been a pretty torrid time for businesses and rural communities, it must be said, over the last probably 2 years when you really think about it, with the combination of drought, bushfires and now this. And there's a lot of uncertainty out in the community. People are worried, a lot of anxiety, and you know, people are concerned about their futures, you know. They've basically had, I mean, if the drought and the bushfires wasn't bad enough, now they have this virus come into our country and state and area. You know, it's caused a lot of problems and uncertainty for people, and people have lost their jobs, people have had to close their businesses down or drastically modify the way they do business. So I can appreciate and understand the anxiousness that's out there in the community. The government, both at a state and federal level, you know, are doing a good job. I feel they're trying to stimulate the local economy, but you know, there's a lot of confusion out there still. There's a lot of uncertainty. The people go, am I eligible for this? Am I not eligible for this? Who do I go to? Where do I go to? I ring someone up, I get put on hold, I can't get through to anyone. You know, it's really difficult times, and people just got to try as best they can. I know it's hard, to try as best they can, support local, as I said, but try and just think these things through. Be calm, seek some advice. I mean, I'm always happy my office, although the door's no longer open, we're open to the public still in terms of email and phone and whatnot. You know, seek advice, seek help, because there is help out there. We just need to navigate through the system.
Absolutely, and I think that's a good segue. RDA is definitely here to help as well. If you're trying to access or need advice on some of those stimulus measures that are out there, or access a specific grant for your business or your community organisation, we're here to help. And I think that's been one of the positive things that I've seen around town. A lot of the community, government organisations, entities have really come together, and we're all pushing in the same direction, which I think is good. As you alluded to there has been a suite of measures announced by both federal government and state government. Some of the federal announcements that I saw that I think have been really well received have been the cash flow boost for business, where you're getting the rebate there for through your BAS, the extension of the instant asset write-off. But the state government's also announced a suite of measures. Can you update us on a couple of those?
Yeah, look, I suppose... Look, to be fair, I suppose the federal government's introduced the majority of the stimulus packages, and the state government has also come on board in terms of payroll tax relief for businesses. I know that was certainly one of the things that we've been pushing as well for a couple of years now, was payroll tax relief, especially for regional-based businesses, and that encourages people to also move their business to the regions and employ more people. So it's good to see that there's been an adjustment to the payroll tax relief in New South Wales. You know, part of the other measures that the New South Wales state government announced in their stimulus package was increasing to the health budget and facilities and resources, and that's really important at this time. And you know, we just got to keep going, and you know, the government are trying to, I suppose, adapt and change. They haven't just announced one policy, they've sort of announced a series of policies to try and, I suppose, the longer this goes on, the longer it continues, the more issues that come up, I suppose, they've sort of adapted to them. So, which is good. You know, it's ever-changing world. It changes almost on a daily basis. It is, and I understand small business, it is hard to keep up with it all. So, you know, it's there's some of the main measures, I guess, like you said, touched on. The federal government probably by and large have probably done the majority of the stimulus stuff.
Yeah, I think what you said is right on point. It's an unprecedented scenario that we're in, and we do. I empathise for a lot of those businesses out there. They're trying to grapple with the challenges of operating their business in this environment and navigate their way through the different measures that are out there. So as I said, we're here to help, and if we can, be it through your local members office or other organisations, do utilise those resources that are there. And I guess some of the other things that have been mentioned is the JobKeeper payment, the JobSeeker payment, which I think is really positive. So after this chat this morning, check out the RDA Facebook page. We're going to put the links to the measures that have been announced by the federal government, the Treasury link there, and also the link to all of the New South Wales state government measures. So if you're looking for a little bit more information, but as I said, if you've got any questions post that, just send us a message. We'll put the RDA email address up there as well for you, so hopefully we can answer those questions that you have. And I guess, Phil, we mentioned it briefly before. What's the best way that individuals can support local business right now? And I know, as we've said, there's been a lot of challenges and it's unprecedented, but I have seen a number of local businesses thinking outside the box, getting creative to kind of get to their customer base. What are some of those examples that you've heard?
Yeah, look, there's been obviously an increase in home delivery services. I know my wife recently got online and was on, I think it was the local Facebook page, and we ordered some veggies from a grower just out of town who delivered the farmer, and he had some beautiful fresh produce. You ring him up, tell him what you want, he tells you how much it is, he delivers it, you leave the money in an envelope under the flower pot or under a pot plant out your front door. He'll knock on the door, you know your fruit's there, he picks up an envelope, does a runner, and there's no interaction per se, so there's no, touching, whatnot, and it's great fresh produce, and it's was cheaper than what you could buy in the supermarket. So really supporting locals like that, but there's been a lot of similar things. There's home delivery now of pharmaceutical products as well, and that is, I saw something in the paper only this week about that. So people have had to be a bit more creative and thinking outside the square and adapting to it. And Aussies have got a great tradition of being able to adapt to the circumstances. And like you said earlier, these are unprecedented times. small businesses have had to rethink how they do things to meet the demands of their customer base, and whether it's online, whether it's going direct, home delivery, they're just a couple of things that come to mind. I know Resty Grocers doing home delivery as well, so there's quite a few businesses out there who have really got on board and had to change the way they think. And it's, look, hopefully this is over as quickly as possible. We get back to business as it was previously known as soon as we can. And we just got to get through this time, and we will. We just got to work through it, work together as a community, stick together, and we'll get through it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a very on-point comment. But also, I saw that, I know we'd be in the middle of Food Week right now, I believe. And I recall last Friday night, it was a nice thing that Orange 360 was advertising was the virtual night market. And we got involved. I think we got some ice cream from Spilt Milk, and I did see a lot of people doing that around the community. So I think that's another way that we can continue to support the region and support local business, which is important. And I guess, quite simply, stop, shop, spend where you can, around the community. Right. Simple message, and if we can all take that home with us after today's chat, I think that's valuable.
Yeah.
Got a couple of questions that came in for you, Phil. One comment, one question. The comment was, and I think it's something that you alluded to before, is hopefully as this continues, government can continue to make their accessibility for these subsidies and these support measures as easy as possible for business. That's why I think, as you said, the access to some of those rebates, be it the BAS repayments, they're the ones that have been well received because it's easier for business. Is that the kind of feedback you've got on the ground?
Yeah, that's right. We've got to try and make things as streamlined and as simple as possible. It's hard enough and stressful enough for small business operators and owners at the moment as it is. We don't need to make it more convoluted and lengthy. So anything that government can do that can streamline the process, make the process more easier to access, or provide more information out there and provide those direct links and connections as to where to go. Otherwise it can be a bit of a minefield. I mean, you're working a full day, often you're at home at night on the computer doing all your paperwork or your BAS or whatever the case may be, and you need things to be just, we don't need to overcomplicate things at this time. We need to make it as simple as possible, and it's great that you're going to put the links up, because just providing that sort of feedback and that opportunity for people just to click, get the information they need. Yep, that's what I need to do, this is where I need to go, let's go ahead with it, rather than sort of be faced with a maze of where do I go, where do I start, what do I do, where do I apply for, who do I speak to, So we need to really streamline the process, and I think, over time that will happen. I mean, we're in uncharted territory, aren't we? So there's always going to be teething problems, but we just need to make it as streamlined as possible.
Well, look, a bit of a sidestep. The question that came in was, look, there's some lovely rain out there this morning, and it comes from a local farmer from out at Cumnock who wanted to get your read on how you thought the season was going to go the year ahead.
Yeah, look, I think it's. I spoke to a farmer from Yeovil only yesterday, and they've had some reasonable rain. I think things are on the. There's certainly a bit of rain about of late, good rain. So I think there's a level of optimism that they probably haven't seen in the last couple of years, which is terrific. Agriculture is still going to be what drives us out of this current crisis. I believe there's a great future in agriculture. Don't think it's all doom and gloom. I know we've had a couple of hard years with the drought and whatnot, but the potential for our agricultural sector, I think, is really terrific. Hopefully we get a good season. Crops are in, they're doing well. This recent rainfall is really going to give them that boost going into the winter. And I think we've got to be positive about agriculture. I think it's a great industry to be in. We've got to encourage more younger people to get in, and that's a bit of a challenge because it's expensive to get in. If you're not born into a farming family, if you want to get into farming, it's very hard to do that. You almost got to win the lotto, or it's got to be intergenerational. But somehow we need to sort of change that. But anyway, look, agriculture, I think, has a great future. We need to be positive and uplifting about it. It's what's going to drive us out of this crisis. There's always going to be demand for protein, for meat, for fibre, and really back it and be confident about it.
Yeah, I agree 100%, and I think our region is known for world-class
Yeah.
produce. That's why we have so many tourists coming to our region for that agri-tourism offering that we have. And I know there's been a lot of work done even through the joint organisation of councils in this region with the food and fibre strategy, and it's looking at how we can value add for the sector. And I think that's going to be vital. As you said, it's an industry that's going to help drive this regional economy forward through this challenging time. And I think there's a few farmers out there, hopefully they're getting a bit more of a spring in their step.
I think so.
They're up and about, they're coming back good after some recent rains, and fingers crossed that continues.
Yeah.
But look, the next question that I had is, I guess you've launched your own new series recently called Shooting the Breeze, and I just wanted to know a little bit more about that one.
Yeah, look, it's just something different. It's sort of been put on hold a bit while we're going through this coronavirus. I only got one episode in. It's a podcast. I've loaded up on my Facebook page as well, on YouTube. So it's just an opportunity to identify local personalities in our community, local, whether they be business people, sports person, well-known people in whatever the industry they may be in. And the first instalment was a few weeks ago out at Pioneer Brewing, and spoke to Pete Gerber, and they're a terrific local family-based company who brew their own beer on site from paddock to plate or paddock to can. They grow the hops out there. They use the water that they harvest off the roof of their massive shed. They've got the solar panels on the shed there. So they've invested a lot of time and money, more importantly, in their local business. They've backed themselves. They're doing a great job. They provide a world-class product. It's going all around Australia, and hopefully they're looking at exporting it as well, which would be great for our region. It's a great success story. And Pete's a real character. I don't know if you've had a chance to meet Pete yet, but he's a terrific fella.
I have taste tested though.
You have taste tested. Well, I'm sure a lot of us have taste tested their beers, but they're great. He's a great fella. Has a great story of how he started brewing beer. That's the thing. There's so many talented people out here, or people with such interesting stories and backgrounds, and often you just got to scratch the surface or dig a little deeper, and you find out who these people are in our community, how they got to be where they are. Everyone's got a pretty interesting story, and it's really a great way to identify those people, hear their stories, maybe learn a thing or two. Often, and your cohort of members, of people who are in business and people who've backed themselves, and that's what often it's not an easy thing to do. There's always that element of self-doubt, I guess, isn't there? I know in this job there always is as well. But you got to learn to back yourself. I think back your own ability, have some confidence in what you think you can produce or deliver or provide, and have a crack. That's what you got to do, and that's what I did, and that's what a lot of these business people do. And no doubt many of your listeners have a go. Don't sort of underestimate yourself.
And I guess that entrepreneurial instinct is going to be relied upon now more than ever, as we need to adapt to these, from a business perspective.
That's right.
Adapt to these changing times. Now I'm going to change pace right now, and I'm going to call this segment. I'll make it up as I go. Benefits of going live. Fast five for Phil.
Fast five for Phil. Right. I'll keep the answers short.
But look, we've had a good, insight into some of the stimulus measures that are out there, but a lot of people know you as the local member, but I thought this might be a chance for us to dig a little deeper and learn a little bit more about what makes you tick. So, favourite movie?
Ooh, favourite movie? Top Gun.
Top Gun. I wouldn't have picked that. I'm a big Nicolas Cage fan.
Pardon the pun.
Yeah. Good. I'm a big Nicolas Cage fan, so I'm Con Air, Rock, Face Off. Don't judge me. They're classic.
What's the adventure seat?
National Treasure.
National Treasure. They're pretty good.
Yeah, like those.
Yeah.
Your last movie?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay, they're good.
Yeah. My wife and I went and saw that. Well, it's probably over a year ago now. We don't go to the movies much, but I don't go to the movies much. But that was the last movie I saw.
Yeah,
don't judge me. All right.
I was the most recent Star Wars on DVD.
Right.
So, and I think we've got Jumanji there.
Jumanji's good.
Look out, that might be this weekend. Best bit of your job?
Oh, look, meeting so many wonderful people and helping people. I mean, it's the little things that I find and get the most personal satisfaction out of. You know, like and you know, there's heaps of examples I can use, but one that just only in the last couple of days, you know, helping people who've basically got nowhere else to turn, where they're at their wits' end, and they come to you as like a last option. And there was a case this week where there was a family that was stuck in a hotel in Sydney, coming back from overseas in isolation, and they got all that, they appreciated all that, and they said, look, we're not getting, the food's pretty substandard, we're not getting any information, we're stuck in our room, we understand we've got to be sucky. I made a few inquiries, sent a couple of emails, you know, they were able to get 3 decent meals a day, they got a carer's pack delivered to their room, and they were so happy, and you know, they thought, oh, you just changed, you know, we're going to be here for 14 days, at least we know now, you know, it's going to be comfortable for us. So, just stuff like that. I mean, that's just one example, but just helping people, that's what I find the most satisfying.
What's the hardest bit or the worst bit of your job?
The worst bit? Oh, well, politics is a dirty game, can be. But look, it's, you know, it's no different to any job. You know, there's good days, there's bad days, and but look, overall, you're very honoured and privileged to be in this position. It's not a position that you're in forever, and so you've got to really make the most of it and appreciate it while you're doing it. I'd say there's a lot of backstabbing and all that sort of stuff behind the scenes. You know, politics. That's politics. I get all that, but you know, when they try and, you know, like it's all well and good to attack me, or you know, but sometimes there's boundaries, and you know, when family are getting involved, if your kids are getting involved in stuff, that sometimes, you know, they don't put themselves out there. So I think it's a bit unfair and you know, that happens to a lot of people, I suppose, whether they be sports people or people in public life. But that's probably the worst part of it. But you know, I suppose it goes with the territory. You just got to learn to deal with it.
Now, you would traverse your electorate a lot. You've probably been to every nook and cranny of the Central West, and I'm sure many funny things have happened.
Yes.
Have you got any good stories of funny things that have happened?
Good stories. Well, I've done some silly things. Dressed up as a pirate at a children's book reading day, and dressed up as Elvis many times in the jumpsuit, which is not a good look. But probably the funniest thing that happened, I'd have to say, I was at a Diwali festival dinner at the Orange Function Centre probably a year or two ago. I was there with the mayor, I was there with a federal member, a number of councillors there, and there's probably about 400 people at the function, and as is tradition and ritual at these functions, all the men get up and we all got dragged up to join up with these men to dance, and you do a few moves. I was wearing a suit at the time, and I'm dancing and probably squatting it down a bit too far, and I hear this and I've gone, oh no. And I quickly went over to my wife who was sitting at our table, and I said, tried to discreetly go over, and I said, I think I've torn my pants, and she looks and she goes, yeah, and I ripped the pants. I said, I think it's time to go. So I had to put the jacket on, tie the jacket around my waist. We stayed for about 10 minutes, and that was towards the end of the night, unfortunately. But look, that's just, look, lots of funny things happen. You get to meet a lot of decent people. You have a lot of great laughs. You know, there's some good times and good fun about it, and you've got to learn to not take yourself too serious. You take the piss out of yourself. I don't care. You know, that's all part of the fun.
Absolutely. Well, we've all had wardrobe malfunctions like that, haven't we? But
Yes.
Look, last question. The Central West, it's a beautiful part of the country, and there's fantastic villages, towns, wherever you look, things to do. What's your number one hidden gem for the Central West? So this could be a location, it could be a shop, it could be a monument. So if we're trying to showcase our region to our viewers this morning or potential visitors, what's your best hidden gem?
Best hidden gem? Well, we've got so many, and I'm going to be a little bit outside the square here. We've got some great coffee shops, great local communities, great streets, you know, but the best hidden gem, I think, is out at Murga, between Eugowra and Forbes. You turn off to Nengar National Park in that beautiful big valley, and you can go right up the top. There's a couple of walking trails. You get right up the top. Great lookout, fantastic lookout. It looks out over the Western Ranges, and it's a really fantastic spot to go and visit. You know, but that's and yeah, I like being outdoors, so that's something which I really sort of I really think is a really great little hidden treasure. Most people just drive along that road, drive past it, and you see the sign, you go, oh yeah, one day I'll go up there, and you never do. But if you get a chance, go up there and explore it, because there's some great history around there with the bush rangers and you know, all that stuff around Eugowra, and it's all well documented. But it's a great spot to go up and visit and just have a look at the view. Terrific, especially on sunset. Terrific spot. But you know, we're very lucky, aren't we? We've got great coffee shops. Every town you go to has got a fantastic coffee shop or great places to eat. So I don't want to pick one out of the other, because often, you know, I don't want to upset anyone. But no, look, if you get a chance at Nengar National Park, go to the lookout there at Murga, between Eugowra and Forbes. It's a great spot. You really enjoy it.
Yeah, look, you're right. We've got such a massive array of people, places, things to do in the Central West. I reckon mine is Grenfell,
Yep.
Beautiful country town in the Central West, and all of our viewers that are tuning in from Grenfell, I know they're still doing it pretty tough out there with the drought. It seems to have been one of the locations that have missed some of this recent rains.
Yeah,
but
right.
really encouraging everyone to take the drive and stop in Grenfell. Not only can you see the awesome silo mural out there at Grenfell, but in the tourism centre there on the main drag. I'm not a massive art aficionado, but there's a beautiful little gallery there in Grenfell, and it's worth a look. And then they've got that beautiful main street as well. So if you're looking for a drive when we're allowed to go out and do some travel or get away, Grenfell, it's worth a look. So look, I think that's the Fast Five for you, Phil. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
but
Sam.
if local community members have ideas on the next suite of stimulus measures that might be able to come through from the state government, or ideas on how to help, what's the easiest way for them to get in contact with you?
Yeah, either via phone or email. So our phone number here at the office is 63625199, or email is orange@parliament.nsw.gov.au. By all means, or on Facebook, you can contact me on Facebook. But by all means, reach out. If you've got anything suggestion-wise, or you need advice, or you need assistance with anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Only a phone call or an email away. We've got to stick together. As I said earlier, stick together. We will get through this. We've got to work together as a community and support each other, more importantly. So thanks for inviting me on as your first guest, Sam. I've really appreciated it, and keep up the great work, all you businesses out there, because I know it's tough times, so I appreciate that. And he's doing a great job, so keep it up.
Well, thank you very much, Phil. I think that's a great way to finish this morning, and a nice positive note. And look, stay tuned for a similar time next week for our next instalment of the RDA Central West Business Breakfast. And if you feel like you've missed anything special this morning, don't worry. This chat's going to be up on the RDA Central West website later today. But Phil Donato, member for Orange, thank you very much for your time.
Appreciate it, mate.
And everybody else, have a fantastic Friday morning. Enjoy your breakfast and enjoy work.